Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special presentation of the Reese Company. You normally know us for reviewing TV, movies, and after-school specials, but something very important is going on in our community right now, Steve. So we thought we'd talk about that. Of course, I'm talking about the Phillies punching their ticket to the National League Championship Series just last night.
All right, we did it.
Yeah. And I just wanted to bring up a couple things I saw in the last 24 hours. One is this funny photo here. That's General William Tecumseh Sherman wearing a Phillies hat. And he, of course, is the man who, I guess he burned down Atlanta in the Civil War. So much like the Phillies did last night.
So he's very pleased with the outcome.
Yes, as you can tell from the photo. Now, there were a lot of post-game interviews like there always are. There was a big celebration where they all spray champagne in their eyes. They never do this in any other sport. They always say, well, we have 8 more games to win or whatever. And they don't generally celebrate at all, but in baseball, they just go all out. They win a division title, whatever. There doesn't any reason to celebrate in baseball. And I don't know if I like that or dislike it. It's just what it is. But there was an interesting, before all of that happened, there was an interesting post-game interview with Phillies outfielder Nick Costa. Is it Castellanos?
Castellanos, I believe, yeah.
It's not spelled that way. It's always confusing to me, but let's take a look at this interview.
There's no question.
Thank you for telling me.
Well, what happened? Is that the whole? Is it just not starting in the right spot, or is that the whole thing?
All right, BA. Nick, nobody in Major League history has hit 2 home runs on back-to-back postseason games, but you just did, and you guys are headed to the NLCS.
Where's the question in that?
There's no question.
Thank you for telling me.
Yeah. I mean, he got a little bit of flack for that, for being rude, but it seems like a very viable thing to say.
Right.
The guy didn't ask him a question, so.
Yes.
Now, in the background, Steve, they were playing what became last year the Phillies' unofficial anthem, Dancing on My Own. You told me when that was playing that you preferred the old song that they used to play that was sung by, what's his name, Harry Callis?
Yes.
High Hopes.
Longtime announcer for the Phillies would sing High Hopes.
Yeah. Who died the day after they won their last World Series. Isn't that right?
That's not what happened.
It was like 3 months later.
No, it was during the next season.
It was
the following season.
I think it was before Game 1 of the next season.
He died in Washington. I thought collapsed in the broadcast booth, I believe, before the game against the Nationals.
And what game was that? Game 1. But anyway, he didn't last long after that.
Right.
Is the point we're making. But so we disagreed on that. I prefer the new song. High Hopes to me is just kind of like an old folk music song. It's not a pop music song. But you disagree.
Yeah, I disagree. I'm a traditionalist when it comes to this. I think once a song is embedded in the culture of a sports team, I think it should stay that way. It can evolve. Different people can record it and put their own stamp on it, and that can be, the new version of the classic sports theme. But to abandon it entirely for Dancing on My Own, I believe Schwarber brought that from Boston.
Okay. Well, yeah, but they didn't win anything while he was there, so it's okay to steal it in my book. But, yeah, I don't know that thing.
But we already had a song.
Yeah, but that really was Harry Callis's thing. And
it pays tribute to him and the rich tradition of Philly baseball.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess there's room for both, isn't there? So maybe we'll hear that moving forward, the old song. Another thing we disagreed on, Steve, there was a play in Game 3. It was the game-ending play. There was a long ball hit that at first looked like it was going out of the park. What was the situation? The Phillies were down by 1 run. They had Harper on first base. And the ball did not end up going out, but it still looked like it was not going to be caught. So Bryce Harper was already around second base at that point and could not make it back to first in order to avoid the double play tag out. You were very critical of Bryce Harper for that.
Absolutely.
Whereas I saw it as it was a calculated risk. He knew they needed that tying run in that situation, and he was taking the risk that ball was not going to be caught. So we disagreed on that.
We disagreed because I thought it was so misguided. Initially, I figured he must have thought there were 2 outs. He was running like there were 2 outs.
Yeah. But that was not the case.
No, that was not the case. He
Yeah.
was fully aware, which makes it far worse to make this little league error in base running.
I mean, but Little League, you're supposed to learn the game and play by the rules. Once you get the level of a league MVP, I think you're allowed to deviate from that a little bit.
But this is more than rules. This is just fundamentals. You know that there's a good chance that ball is going to be caught. And you don't want to place your team at risk of a loss. And that's what he did. He lost the game. They were behind, but that ended the game.
That ended the game. They likely would have lost had he gotten back to first, though. The odds still would have been very against them. And I like to play. I liken it to going for a 2-point conversion or pulling a goalie. It's a calculated risk. I don't fault Bryce Harper for that. Somebody who did, though, was Braves shortstop. What's his first name? Ron Arcia?
I have no idea.
Well, his last name was Arcia.
Yeah, his last name is Arcia. And what kind of name is that? That looks like his jersey. It looks like a letter fell off his jersey.
There should be a G on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does look like that. Yeah. But what do we have here? Well, after the next game, game 4. Wait, was it game 2 that they do I have these games right? Was it game 2 where Harper made that that was game 2. I'm sorry. So in game 3, well, Harper was a little bit peeved at something that Arcia had done in the game 2 post-game celebration. I guess he didn't mean it to be on the record. He made some comment about attaboy Harper.
Yeah.
And, well, then Harper went out the next game and hit 2 home runs. After both of them, he tried to stare down Arcia, as we'll see in these photographs here. Arcia didn't look at him the first time, but did the second, giving us these wonderful photos. So that's the guy you're siding with, Arcia there.
I am. I think Harper's being a baby.
Okay.
I think it's an irrational level of anger Harper is showing.
Okay.
When all Arcia did was delight in his team taking victory. Is he not supposed to do that? Is he supposed to apologize because the Braves won that game? Or is he supposed to enjoy the victory?
I don't think it's a good idea for the guy batting 8th in the order to insult possibly the best player in the game right now.
It doesn't matter. He was pleased at the outcome and probably somewhat relieved.
Okay. Well, Steve, this is the guy that you've sided with. All right. Well, there you go. That's the company
fair
you keep.
enough. Fair enough. That's not only the guy I sided with. That's a guy who's being abused by fans probably throughout the game.
All right.
He's just trying to watch his team play.
That's not what he was doing there. The other guy next to him, Acuna, was just trying to watch his team play.
Well, he was reacting to what was being said to him.
Okay.
Probably for 2.5 hours.
Well, be careful what you say. It might come back to haunt you, I guess.
All right. Well, if you play baseball or any kind of sport and your team wins, do not show any sort of delight. Like the champagne spray that you were discussing earlier. I guess the Phillies shouldn't have done that because that's an insult.
Well, there's no consequences to that because they don't have another game against the Braves. So it's a different situation.
But I think in the spirit of competition that you were slighted or wronged in such a way. I mean, that was like road rage in Harper's eyes.
Look, are you disappointed that something motivated him to hit 2 home runs the next game?
Whatever motivates
as a Phillies
him,
fan?
I'm glad, but just as a human being, I'm puzzled by his reaction.
All right. Well, we'll have to agree to disagree.
All right.
And hopefully we'll have more of these discussions because hopefully we're hoping for another couple weeks of baseball in this city.
Yeah.
So join us here at the Reese Company